It is now 6:02 and a warning for this next story. The video may be pretty hard to watch. Right now, a former bus aide in Littleton is set to face a judge next month accused of abusing a little boy with disabilities. This video was recorded last month on a Littleton school bus. It shows Kiara Jones sitting next to a 10-year-old boy who is nonverbal and has special needs. Jones begins hitting the boy's body, then hits him a few times in the face. Right now, Inglewood police are investigating and reviewing more videos. Several parents spoke at a news conference yesterday accusing Littleton schools of ignoring their complaints about injuries for months.
If I could say one thing to Littleton public schools, it would be, how dare you? How dare you fail my son in such an astonishingly preventable way?
The parents actually asked for that video to not be blurred so that everyone could see the full extent of what happened on the bus. Now, last week, the school district superintendent told parents over email that Jones has been fired. Police arrested her on suspicion of felony assault.
Incidents like this have happened several times over the last few years in our state, most recently in Poudre Valley schools. Tyler Zanella is accused of abusing 11 children with disabilities on a bus last year. He was also a bus aide. Video in that case has not been released to the public, but it is part of the criminal case against him. He pleaded guilty in January to 7 felony counts and 4 misdemeanors. On Friday, Zanella is set to stand before a judge. He's facing up to 14 years in prison.
We are taking a live look over Denver right now, and new this morning, the city says another 24 migrants arrived on Tuesday. Meanwhile, the number of people in city shelters continues to decrease. 800 are there now. This comes as Mayor Mike Johnston prepares to give an update on migrant newcomer operations. That is set to happen later this morning. He is also expected to share updates on this year's budget. Denver is still trying to fund the $120 million projected to be the cost of the migrant crisis.
This update comes as Denver police are investigating 2 sexual assaults in the city's migrant shelters. The man accused is from Denver. The incidents happened on the same day in January at 2 hotels that were being used to house people from Venezuela. A woman living in one of the shelters met a man at a nearby convenience store. Court documents show the man told her he lived in the same shelter. He led her to a room when he pulled out a gun and assaulted her. Less than an hour later, the man sexually assaulted another woman. Police arrested Tyler Reed last month. It is not clear how he was able to get past security and into the shelters.
We have to make sure these people are safe. These are people who fled instability. These are people who fled violence. And for them to come here and someone to do something unconscionable to them is just, it's unacceptable.
Neither of the hotels involved in this incident are still being used as a shelter. Reed is out on bond and is due back in court next week.
New this morning, 911 dispatchers are now officially being recognized as first responders in Colorado.
Yeah, the bill has been signed into law by the governor. It could have a ripple effect in a stressful industry struggling to recruit and retain people. 9 News reporter Anusha Roy joins us live from Jefferson County. Anusha, what changes could come?
Well, Erica and Jordan, they're really hoping that this will down the line start to impact pay. And when you really look at the history of how we got to this point, it is so telling about what dispatchers have been up against, especially the folks inside this building in Lakewood who are answering your 911 calls right now during some of your worst and scariest moments. But if you look at the federal government and the way that they are classifying a dispatcher, it is actually more in the administrative and clerical category. So that is actually putting them in the same category as office clerks and taxi cab dispatchers and secretaries. Now think about what dispatchers are actually doing. They're fielding calls during emergencies, coordinating resources, assessing safety for police and firefighters during crimes. They're also helping people during a mental health crisis who are dialing 911. The deputy director for JeffCom 911 said the job has also very much evolved, especially as more people are living here. Technology is rapidly advancing, but the recognition and the pay did not keep up with that. He is really hoping that this new law will be a first step towards fixing that, especially because right now, he said, it is an unfair hiring fight, putting their staffing at jeopardy.
And until we can compensate equally, well, we're competing with other entry-level positions, maybe such as in the service industry at a supermarket or restaurant. And when you're trying to compare the demands of a 911 professional
So basically what Michael Brewer was talking about was that a lot of the entry-level positions are in the same salary range as an entry-level dispatcher. They're all important jobs, right? But they're not coming with the same level of stress and 24/7 demand. So the hope here is really that by being put as an equal along with other first responders, other firefighters and police, it will help start to build a case so that dispatchers can be paid more. Reporting live in Lakewood, Anusha Roy, 9 News.
And Anusha, when you look at the broader scope of all of this change is really a service to us all.
100%, right? Because what we're also seeing is that, especially in rural parts of Colorado, they're having such a hard time keeping up with staffing and retaining people. Departments, including here in Jefferson County, are starting to combine. You might be getting a waiting call time as well when you call 911 because they just don't have enough people to get to those calls. So they're kind of prioritizing it by getting to the biggest emergencies first, and that means other people are waiting. It's having a pretty serious impact in our community that's been going on for several years now.
Yeah, definitely a serious topic right there. Anusha, we appreciate your reporting. Thank you.
A former director with the CU School of Medicine is now suing the university after she was fired for refusing to get the COVID-19 vaccine, claiming religious discrimination. Elise Brennick served as the director of clinical research in the Department of OBGYN for 6 years. She claimed the way the vaccine was developed using aborted fetal tissue is against her religion. The university denied her request for religious exemption since it would only apply to someone whose religion opposed all immunizations.
Employers aren't allowed to decide whether the religious beliefs are legitimate. They're only allowed to determine whether those beliefs are sincere, and if so, they're required to seek an accommodation that's not an undue burden to the employer.
In a statement, the university said the vaccination policy at their medical campus was critical to providing a safe and healthy place to protect their patients. Brennick is seeking monetary damages for loss of pay, emotional suffering, and other losses. She is the only plaintiff on her lawsuit. Now, there's another lawsuit involving at least 11 unnamed plaintiffs, including physicians, nurses, and other administrative roles within the Anschutz Medical Campus.
The Arizona Supreme Court has ruled the state must adhere to a 160-year-old law barring all abortions. The legislation from 1864 makes abortion a felony punishable by 2 to 5 years in prison for anyone who performs or helps a woman get one. The law allows the procedure only if a pregnant person's life is at risk and makes no exceptions for rape or incest. Abortion rights opponents claim the state should revert to the ban, while advocates ask the court to affirm a 2022 law allowing abortions up to 15 weeks into pregnancy. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs called it a dark day in the state.
We continue to live under an unacceptable ban, a law that still strips Arizonans of their personal autonomy and has no exceptions for women who are the victims of rape or incest or any regard for pregnancy complications.
Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays says as long as she is in office, no woman or doctor in the state will be prosecuted. The court's decision is currently in place for 14 days.
A new CDC study finds many women are not getting regular mammograms because they can't afford it. Researchers say women with health-related social needs were 20% less likely to get recommended mammograms. They say addressing these issues will help save women's lives through early breast cancer detection. According to the CDC, breast cancer causes more than 40,000 deaths in women across the United States each year.
One thing to know about your weather on this Wednesday, we are in store for some scattered showers across the plains. Breezy conditions, winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour. Above normal temperatures in store for the weekend, but it's going to be breezy once again, and that could increase fire concerns for the weekend.
And we're still tracking this rollover crash right near Parker Road and I-225. Sky9 giving us a look right now from up above. You can see a lot of delays in that area and crews as well as they block off westbound lanes of Hampton Avenue and then northbound lanes of Parker Road. Again, that is not a place where you want to be this morning, especially if you're trying to get onto I-225. Your best bet is just to take an alternate route. Aurora police say that road will be shut down for at least 2 hours this morning.